Welcome back, Sebastian here. It's time for my review of the 2023 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the final F1 race of the 2023 F1 season. So, start with Leclerc on pole, no, not Leclerc on pole, Verstappen on pole, Leclerc second. And going into the race, the two main strategies that were being discussed were a medium-hard one-stop strategy or a medium-hard two-stop strategy. So the top 12 drivers started on the medium tires, with Stroll, Sainz, and Bottas all opting to start on the hard tire. No one touched the soft tire at all today until the very end, not really seen as a good race tire. So we get to the start of the race. Verstappen has a good start and he stays in the lead. Leclerc kind of follows behind P2, but Norris gets ahead of Russell, so Norris moves up to P4. After a couple laps, Leclerc kind of is starting to fall towards Piastri in the running order. Still 1.3 seconds behind Verstappen, but outside of DRS range already. Perez then overtakes Hamilton for P9 at turn 6. Lap 4, Norris overtakes Piastri for P3 at turn 6, so Norris overtaking his teammate very early, showing a little bit much better race pace in the early part of the race. And then Russell follows suit, overtakes Piastri on lap 7 at turn 9. But Piastri protects the inside very well and stays ahead at that lap. Lap 9, again a couple laps later, many cars were stuck in DRS trains, not a whole lot of overtaking happening. Russell, trying to overtake Piastri, and Perez was trying to overtake Gasly as well. But just too many cars too close together, creating these DRS trains. Lap 11 though, Russell was finally able to get past Piastri up to P4 at turn 9. And Perez, that same lap, overtakes Gasly for P8 at the same corner. A couple laps later, Alonso decides to start the pit stops. Norris, unfortunately for him, has a slow pit stop and he comes out behind Russell, who pitted the same lap as him. Lap 16, Hamilton has contact with Gasly. I think Hamilton kind of got a bit caught out by Gasly's kind of sudden braking and positioning of the car, and he got a bit of damage on the front wing end plate. And I think based on Gasly complaining on the radio later in the race, it sounded like Gasly had a bit of damage from that too. Lap 18, Leclerc pits and Tsunoda leads a Formula One race for the first time in his career. So the commentators here in Japan were quite excited about that, all excited about Tsunoda leading. But of course, it's merely because of pit strategy. Lap 23, Tsunoda and Stroll both pit. Stroll's on a two-stop strategy, hard, medium, as he started on the hard and he opted to pit for the hard tires. And they come out 12th and 15th respectively. Lap 25, Perez overtakes Alonso for P5. And Verstappen, after pitting, has a 5.1 second advantage over Leclerc, which is roughly the same as it was before the pit stops. Verstappen lost a couple seconds, I presume, pitting a couple laps later than Leclerc. Lap 28, Perez overtakes Piastri to move himself up to P5. So Perez making lots of moves and moving himself up into the position to potentially challenge for a podium. Lap 29, Ricciardo, who's pit very early with what seemed to be brake duct problems in the opening 10 laps, I believe that was. His strategy is kind of all mixed up now, and he was overtaken by Hamilton, Tsunoda, and Stroll over the course of several laps because of that kind of differing strategy, and he eventually would pit on lap 32 of 3 laps later. Lap 36, of course, Stroll on his medium hard strategy is at the front of pretty close to the front of the field, and he was overtaken by Russell and Norris over the course of a couple of laps there, kind of falling down to the order. Hamilton then overtakes Alonso for P11. I think right before that, I think he came over the radio complaining about brake testing him. It looked like Alonso just made a tiny mistake basically went too far on the curb. Wasn't really malicious or anything like that. But Alonso managed to retake the position to stay ahead of Hamilton. Lap 43, Stroll pits for medium tires. Lap 44, Verstappen pits, I believe, and I think at this point he, again, 5-second gap to Leclerc. Lap 46, Hamilton, this is a bit strange. So Hamilton, Gasly, Zhou, Sargent, and Verstappen were all noted, and they were all going to be under investigation after the race for pit stop infringement. We didn't have any replay of this, so I'm not exactly sure what this was. You know, even if it's a penalty, like a 5-second penalty for all of them, I think Verstappen, spoiler alert, Verstappen was like 15 seconds ahead of Leclerc. So shouldn't be a massive problem. We'll see what it is. I'm gonna go to bed after this, and I'll wake up in the morning, and hopefully nothing has dramatically changed. Lap 47, contact between Norris and Perez at turn 6. Basically, Perez didn't really stop trying to overtake Norris for position, and he also had a lot of space on the inside of the corner. He just kept kind of going straight, didn't really turn a whole lot, and forced Norris to take the shortcut, kind of skipping the chicane. Wasn't very happy about that at all. Lap 48, Hamilton overtakes Sainz for P9 at turn 9, and this puts Mercedes in the P2 position for the Constructors' Championship. So, you know, up to this point, the team that was in P2 was changing constantly. It was 2 points advantage for Ferrari, 2 points advantage for Mercedes based on where all the cars were. But this was kind of the final move that put Mercedes in that P2 position. Perez then overtakes Norris eventually for P4 at turn 6. And Piastri overtakes Tsunoda for P6. So Piastri was trying to go on a one-stop strategy, and he was doing a really, really good job with that one-stop strategy, but unfortunately letting a couple cars overtake him here. 50, Stroll overtakes Ocon for P11 at turn 6, and this is where Perez gets a 5-second penalty for causing a collision. Bit of a harsh penalty, but pretty fair and understandable in my opinion. 53, Perez overtakes Russell for P3 at turn 9. So at this point, Perez is in a podium position, but with that 5-second penalty, he would fall behind Russell. Lap 57, Sainz told to box. Basically, they just left him out as long as possible, hoping for a safety car. So he basically ends up well outside the points, but that was not really mostly his fault. Alonso overtakes Tsunoda for P7. Sainz pits for the soft tires here. That was the only time the soft tires were used today. Lap 58, Verstappen. They show kind of a graphic. He is the first driver to lead 1,000 laps in a season, so you know, another record for Verstappen to have. Now, Leclerc basically comes on the radio thinking very hard about how to get Ferrari into P2. He decides to let Perez pass to try to get him a 5-second buffer to Russell ahead. And it was very, very close in the end. I think it was like 4 seconds or so, but unfortunately not quite there. Perez doesn't get the 5-second gap and basically promotes Russell to P3 on the podium. Final lap, Hamilton almost overtakes Tsunoda, but makes a mistake on the exit of turn 9, kind of gets a snap of oversteer, and Tsunoda on the inside manages to go through and holds his position. So, looking at the result of the race, 19th win of the season for Verstappen, record extending number. Of course, got the fastest lap as well, so that would be another hat trick, which based on the last time I checked F1 Wikipedia, which according to Toto Wolff doesn't matter, that I think is also an all-time season record of most hat tricks in a season. Second, Leclerc, really good race from him. Third, Russell, second podium of the year. It feels like he hasn't had a podium for a long, long time, but you know, a really good result for him today. Fourth, Perez, a bit of a good comeback. Fifth, Norris. Sixth, Piastri. Surprised that the race pace wasn't as good as we were expecting. We were talking about them about being second best after the Red Bull in the race trim, but unfortunately not to be today. Seventh, Alonso, really decent result for him. Eighth, Tsunoda, again, really good for him as in the AlphaTauri. Ninth, Hamilton, a bit disappointed with that, I think. And 10th, Stroll, making that alternative hard medium strategy work with a single point for 10th. 11th, Ricciardo, 12th, Ocon, 13th, Gasly, 14th, Albon, 15th, Hulkenberg, 16th, Sargent, 17th, Show, 18th, Sainz, 19th, Bottas, and 20th, Magnussen. All 20 drivers finished, no safety cars, not even a yellow flag. You know, not the most exciting Grand Prix, I would imagine. We are also very, very close to having all 20 drivers on the lead lap. I believe only Sainz, Bottas, and Magnussen were lapped, and that was towards the end. Otherwise, I can't remember the last time. I don't think we've ever had, you know, in my recent memory, a Grand Prix where we've had no yellow flags, no safety cars, or anything, and all drivers on the lead lap. So, final look at your championship standings. Verstappen, 575 points. That's a massive number. I don't know the next time we're going to ever see that again, unless they put sprints out in every race and we have 29 races in a season. Hopefully, please no FOM. Second, Perez 200 and let's see, what is that? 285. That's a lot of points behind Verstappen. Hamilton third, 234. Alonso fourth. He wins that battle for P4, 206 points ahead of Leclerc on countback. Probably more P2 finishes, given that neither of them got a win. Leclerc fifth, 206 points. Somehow finishes fifth despite being seventh by a good margin coming into this race. Really strong end to the season for Leclerc. Sixth, Norris, 205 points. Maybe a bit disappointed not to get fourth, but still an excellent season for Norris. Seventh, Sainz, 200 points. A bit disappointing given that for pretty much most of the season looked like he would finish ahead of Leclerc in the Drivers' Championship. Eighth, Russell, 175. Really good result for him, like I said. But, for the season, been a pretty weak season, I think, relative, especially given his results last year. 9th, Piastri, 97 points, really solid rookie season. 11th, 10th, Stroll, 74 points. A bit of a down year for him. But, with the wrist injury and with all the car and everything going on there, I don't think it was the absolute worst season ever, but still, he'll want to step it up for next year. 11th, Gasly, 62. 12th, Ocon, 58. Gasly coming out ahead in a very close battle at Alpine. 13th, Albon, single-handedly carrying Williams to 7th in the Constructors. 27 points. 14th, Tsunoda, 17 points. I think a really solid year for him. Really kind of blossoming as a driver in his third year of the sport. 15th, Bottas, 10 points. 16th, Hulkenberg, 9 points. 17th, Ricciardo, 6 points. 8th, Zhou, 6 points. 19th, Magnussen, 3 points. 20th, Lawson with 2 points. 21st, Sargent with a single point in his rookie season. And 22nd, according to the F1 graphic from the race today, Paul de Vries of Estonia. Of course, no, it's Nick de Vries from the Netherlands, but after the race, they showed it Paul de Vries from Estonia, 22nd in the championship. So, not sure where that came from, but still. So, finishing up this video, final review of the 2022 season, my 3 big talking points. I think I'm going to go with the season as a whole, given that this wasn't even the most particularly exciting race. I think, number one, Verstappen dominance, not even, let's see if I can scroll this, no, dominance, okay, Verstappen dominance, I think statistically, for pretty much any single season metric, the most dominant season in F1 history, with the notable exception of the podium record. I know that's Schumacher's record from 2002, but, for Verstappen, this is an absolutely fantastic year, very much close to flawless, very few mistakes. Number two, I think the parity for P2. Parity for P2, battle for P2, I guess you can call. I think despite Red Bull being so dominant, I think we got a lot of really exciting battles between the Ferrari, the Mercedes, the McLaren, and the Aston Martin throughout the season. We never had one team that was kind of always consistently in second place. So that battle behind Verstappen, kind of thanks to Perez's struggles as well, meant that we always had a pretty exciting battle for those two spots behind him on the podium. Number three, I think something that may not be talked about a lot, but I think is important is as of now, Sargent still doesn't have a contract, but, lack of rookies. As of the recording of this video, it looks like we're not going to have any rookies on the grid for next year, which would be, I think, the first in F1 history not having any rookies on the grid. Of course, we'll have Ricciardo back for a full year, but, that would be quite something, not having any rookies. So, thank you so much for watching. Of course, I really enjoyed doing these videos throughout the season. I'm really looking forward to doing them again next year. So, for one last time in 2023 review, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.